Welcome to Worth It or Worthless, a show where every couple weeks we pull a game from my own personal collection of retro games, take off our nostalgia tinted glasses, and decide, is the game good by today's standards, and is it worth the price of admission? We talk about what the game does well, what the game doesn't do so well, and the things that are just plain weird. I'm your host, Dan, joined as always by my friend Jordan. Jordan, what did we get into today?
This week, we played Metal Gear Solid for the Sony PlayStation. Metal Gear Solid is the story of movie fanatic and cinephile Hideo Kojima tricking Konami into funding a 4-hour animated film masquerading as an 11-hour video game.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
What do you mean?
4 hours?
There's literally 4 hours of cutscenes in this game.
According to who?
According to the YouTube video that I looked at to reference and figure out how long the cutscenes are.
Oh, you watched a YouTube video on this one again, Jordan?
I didn't watch the YouTube video. I looked at the timestamp to see how long it was. And that's the cinematics and the like 2D stuff that they couldn't be bothered to actually program animations for.
Wow. How do you really feel?
No, I don't. That's not a judgment on the quality of the game. That's just a fact that there are 4 hours of cutscenes in an 11-hour game. That's worthy of being noted.
Maybe.
What do you mean, maybe? That's like a defining feature of the franchise.
It sure is.
The whole point that the dude got into wanting to make video games is because he wanted to make movies and somehow ended up making video games.
Yeah, right. I'm not going to lie, though. When I was I think a couple days ago, I was finishing this one up, and I got to that last cutscene, and I felt really good to just put my controller on the desk and just watch. Like, sometimes you need some of that, as long as you're not, in a hurry.
Some being the key word there. All of the best cutscenes, specifically the ones involving speedboats and Power Rangers, are around 15 seconds long. When you get to a minute, 5 minutes, 46 minutes, maybe you aren't making a cutscene anymore and you're making a feature-length film. You're making multiple feature-length films at that point.
I mean, maybe. Maybe.
Agree to agree. Anyway, Metal Gear Solid, that's what we played.
Yeah. What did you know a lot about Metal Gear Solid before I forced this one on you?
Literally, my only experience and knowledge of Metal Gear Solid was Super Smash Bros.
Really?
Again, yeah. I think I said the same thing for Samus. So
how is that even possible?
I didn't own a PlayStation.
I know, but this is another one of those where it's even if you've never played a Final Fantasy game, I feel like you still you've seen the characters.
You know about Fox McCloud.
Yeah, you know about Fox McCloud. Big Fox, I think they call him in this particular game.
Okay. No, I literally knew nothing. I knew that he was a guy with a headband and a scuba suit.
Yeah.
And that he hid in boxes.
Wow.
And that I assumed there was some sort of robots based on the Super Smash Bros. Stage where the robot breaks through the wall.
Robots. Yeah, that's a thing. That's a feature of Metal Gear.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the game is you're going to stop the nuclear robot.
Exactly. Yeah, the nuclear robot. What's it called, Jordan?
Rex. Yeah, they named it Rex.
It's called Metal Gear.
Yeah, but that Metal Gear is the kind of robot that it is, and his specific name is Rex. Like a dog or a Tyrannosaurus of sorts.
Oh, so you didn't know anything about Metal Gear Solid.
I still don't know anything about Metal Gear.
I have been... Okay, the only mainline Metal Gear Solid game that I haven't finished is the third one. I've beaten Metal Gear Solid 1. I think this is my third, possibly my fourth time beating it all the way through. I've played Metal Gear Solid 2 all the way through one time. Metal Gear Solid 4 once, and I beat the first main giant part of the story in Metal Gear Solid 5, but there's a post-chapter thing where you're redoing harder versions of missions. So I have a history with Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
But in the same way where I would be I like Castlevania. That's kind of how I felt about Metal Gear, is I like Metal Gear, but I don't have a Metal Gear Solid t-shirt or a poster.
Gotcha.
Or I wouldn't consider myself a hardcore Metal Gear Solid fan or a Kojima fan. I'm just yeah, okay, I like it. It's fun. So
You played the game 5 times. It's all right. I'll guess it was fine.
5 times? I didn't play the game 5 times.
You said this was your 4th time beating this one, and you played all the other ones.
So I beat this one, I think, when I was in high school.
Okay.
Which would have been like early 2000s probably. The second time I think was probably like 2013, 2014. And then it's been long enough that I was like, let's do it again. And I don't remember if there's another miscellaneous playthrough in there somewhere.
I can't think of any game that I've beaten 3 or 4 times that is not a game that I'm like, I love this game. This is my favorite game.
Why? What about a game that you've beaten 3 or 4 times that you hate?
I would never.
Same?
No, I would never play a game 3 or 4 times if I hated it.
Oh, man. I think Batman Arkham Asylum, I think I've played that one at least 5 times.
That's one of your favorites, though,
That
right?
is one of my favorites.
And this one is just a little bit under it, but it's just kind of okay.
It's a classic. This is a classic. This is one of those games where if you look up, probably, I didn't look it up, but like if you look up the best games of all time or the most important games of all time, I'm pretty sure you're going to find Metal Gear Solid on
I
that
just
list.
Googled it. Number 1 on the list.
I did.
Mario Bros.
You literally
2,
didn't.
I Googled it right now. Number 1 on the list, Mario Bros. The most iconic games of all time. Number 2 on the list, Color a Dinosaur. Number 3,
We are 3 now.
Metal Gear Solid.
Color a Dinosaur. Relevant because we are a toddler of a podcast.
Yes. Anyway.
Anyways, so it was nice for me to revisit Metal Gear. There's a lot here. There's a lot of weirdness here that you need to know before going in.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of subconscious like breadcrumbs of what to do and the story and things. I was like, oh yeah, I had forgotten enough where I was still surprised by some things, but I remembered enough to know how to solve certain things that the game throws at you. So
That's the perfect balance.
yeah, so I'm coming from the perspective of somebody who's like considers themselves somebody who likes Metal Gear Solid. You're coming from the perspective of somebody who's like learning about another one of these games. Should I play one of the most important games of all time? Well, you're going to let us know from your perspective.
One of the most important games of all time, he says. Wow, okay, well, let's see, I guess. Before we get into all that, though, Dan, I'm just really hankering for some fun facts.
Are you? You
I
like the
am.
fun facts, Jordan?
Well, it depends.
Yeah. Have you heard of Konami?
I have heard of Konami. They've made games such as Ninja Turtles,
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles 2,
Yes.
Ninja Turtles 3, Turtles in Time, Castlevania, and others.
I was waiting for you to say Castlevania. I was like, we literally are celebrating Konami this month. Shout out to Okami, our October theme, where it is Jalami Volume 2, Okami, Revenge of the... you got anything?
Namis.
No. Revenge of the Namis. Anyway, so yeah, Konami. This one came out in Japan in September of 1998. North America, we got it October 21st, 1998, which happens to be the day that we are recording this podcast.
Today. Not today of you listening to it, but today of us talking.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Wikipedia real quick, where all this stuff comes from.
Yeah,
Always
big
got to shout out to Wikipedia for giving us this information.
Every year, they do that thing where they put the big, ugly bar on the top of the screen, and they're like, give us your money. And I always look at it, and I say, I'm so thankful for you, Wikipedia, and then I scroll past it. But right now, I'm just telling you guys, if you see that bar, don't scroll past it, because this podcast could not exist without Wikipedia.
Oh, man.
Speaking of Wikipedia,
the European, the PAL release. I don't know if it's just European or when we say PAL, sometimes I get confused.
Yeah.
Because sometimes Wikipedia specifically says EU and sometimes it says something else.
All of the PAL.
So it's like, well, does that include Australia? Does it not include Australia? Like, I think Africa is in the PAL region. It's like, what? I don't know what to make of that. So I think Europe got this one in February of 1999.
Okay.
So a few months.
Not
after
crazy. Not a
got
crazy
this
wait.
one. Yeah, not like a year later or anything bananas like that. But yeah. So this one, third Metal Gear game in the franchise, Jordan.
Yes.
And this one was originally planned for the 3DO.
I did see that little chestnut of a console.
Yeah, they. I think once they got once 3DO wasn't really a thing anymore, Konami was like, we gotta put this on something else. How about the PlayStation?
Gotta put it on something. It's already on a disc, I guess. PlayStation.
Yeah. This one is the third Metal Gear game, but they called it Metal Gear Solid because apparently Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 were not released in North America. Now, there was Metal Gear and Metal Gear Snake's Revenge on the NES released in North America. But those games, Hideo Kojima actually didn't have anything to do with those games.
Other than creating the thing they were based on.
Yeah. So he was like...
what else is he going to do? He's the idea man. He's not like signing off on the actual gameplay, is he?
I don't know, but so he wanted this thing to be Metal Gear Solid instead of Metal Gear 3.
I saw that. And then I also saw that it said Solid also referred to the fact that it was a 3D game and not 2D. To give the idea that there was like a shift. That's why they were like, let's call it something else because this is a shift. Oh, okay. I thought like Solid, like he was specifically saying like
the hardware was solid.
We got 3D game. This is a 3D game. It's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's like according to my friend Jordan, that means it's like a 9 out of 10.
No, it's a generally positive adjective. It was just saying that the game is like, this is Metal Gear Solid, like it's Metal Gear and it's good. It's generally positive.
I think solid to me means generally positive. I think it means adequate.
Listen, if you go, we're not going to get into that. I was going to go somewhere. It was going to go somewhere involving poop, and I'll just filter myself.
Let's don't. Apparently, Lego blocks and figurines were used by Kojima to model the areas of the games to see what the camera angles would look like. I thought that was interesting.
They did the camera testing in Lego. So much more makes sense now. I truly understand the experience I had playing this game now after understanding they modeled the cameras after Lego.
Well, to be fair, I'm like playing this game or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, this feels like a PS1 game. And then I recently, I think it was like $5, I picked up the Metal Gear Solid HD collection that came out for 360 and PS3, like 2012, 2013 or something. And they actually have the MSX versions of Metal Gear 1 and 2, which are like the proper Metal Gears, not the NES versions.
Yeah.
And then after I played, I don't know, 15-ish minutes, 20 minutes of each of those, I was like, oh, Metal Gear Solid makes way, way, way more sense now that I've played a little bit of the original versions. So you talk about the camera angles and the Legos and stuff, but I'm like, oh, this definitely feels like this was a 2D game being put into that new fandangled 3D fancy stuff based on the original Metal Gear games.
All right.
So I thought it was interesting that they used Legos to model the levels.
We'll talk about it more.
Will we? We'll talk about Legos?
We will.
Jordan, this game was made by a team of 20 people. Kojima wanted to keep a small team, I think the Wikipedia page said, so that he knew whenever people were sick or unhappy. Oh. He liked to get to know everybody on the team. So
that's actually that is not where I thought you were going to go with that. I thought he was going to be like a total like control freak kind of thing, but it's like he actually wanted to make sure he could look out for the well-being of his team.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if he's a control freak. I know that you see his name a comically large number of times in some Metal Gear games.
Yeah, like there was a point in this game when I'm fighting a boss, and for no reason, never gets explained, the screen goes black and it just says Hideo. And then it's real big, and then it gets smaller, and then it goes away. Hey, the guy put his name in the middle of a boss fight multiple times with no explanation of what's happening.
So you're talking about the Psycho Mantis fight, and when it says Hideo, that I think is supposed to be like a little joke about switching the input on a TV, like the video input.
No, I got it.
That's why.
But it didn't say video.
No, it said Hideo.
Yeah.
It said Hideo.
It did.
And that's because, like, the trick with the spoiler alert, if you've never played this game.
No, not a spoiler alert. You literally have to know this. You have to know this or you cannot beat the game.
Well, they tell you flat out after you fail.
So it's not a spoiler. Yeah, after you failed a few times.
So when you switch the controller port in the Psycho Mantis fight, that's when I think the whole screen goes like, Hideo.
No, it just did it randomly.
I don't know about that.
It literally did.
I don't know.
I never even switched my controller port because you can't do that on the PlayStation Classic.
What?
Yeah, you can't. It makes you do something different. They had to like program in like and he was like, you don't have a way to change your controller port?
Really?
Go shoot the statues because he doesn't like seeing his own face.
Oh,
I think it was in the original. It was in the
too.
original game too. I think it was like a fallback in case your second controller port was broken.
That's interesting.
Because on the PlayStation Classic, if you unplug the USB thing, it just stops working. So I got halfway into the boss fight and unplugged my controller because that's what the guide said to do, and then all of a sudden I couldn't do anything. I had to restart the whole console.
All right.
Anyway, point being, the dude really likes his own name.
Yeah. All right, Jordan. Final fun fact that we have. Nearly 57 million copies have been sold in the Metal Gear franchise as of December 2020. You're looking at me.
I don't know what that means.
57 million copies of Metal Gear have been sold.
That's a lot.
That is a lot of games.
It's a lot of people, not a lot of rice. So it's hard to know. Is that a lot? Is it not a lot?
What?
I'm just saying, like 57 million people, that's a lot of people.
57 million is a lot of games.
57 million grains of rice, that's
okay.
That's dinner.
What? Oh my goodness. Could you imagine counting 57 copies of a video game?
Yeah,
57 million?
I can imagine 57.
Can you? That's a lot. All right, it's a lot. It's a lot. Jordan, that's all I have for the fun facts.
Those were fun.
Yeah. I don't think you... I feel like you feel about my fun facts the way you feel about this game.
I am wholly undecided about this game still.
Wholly
I
undecided.
Do not know how I feel. It's up in the air still.
All right, well, I'll fix that for you, Jordan. Let's move on to what the game does well.
Let's. Dan, let's move on to what the game doesn't do so well.
I don't like that very much, Jordan.
I know. It's just you always do that to me, and so I thought I would do it to you, even though I don't believe that it's true. I don't actually think that. Dan, what does the game do well? I don't really like any of my points. I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay, all right. We'll start with like a nice like underhand, some nice low hanging fruit. See if I can get you on this one, Jordan.
Okay.
I think the game does a good job of holding the player's hand. There is a lot of quirkiness to Metal Gear, like we were just talking about the Psycho Mantis fight. Switch the controller port. Well, that's a really obscure mechanic that you wouldn't ever figure out on your own. Probably just playing like a video game. Like, hey, I'm playing a video game.
No.
Oh, why does this boss literally know everything I'm doing?
Yeah.
He even knows the games I've played. He can make my controller vibrate. He knows how many times I've saved. This guy is insane.
He might even be psycho.
It's psychic.
Psycho Mantis.
Psycho Mantis. So after you fail the fight, like I think 2 or 3 times, you get a call in your codec from the colonel. He's like, Snake, I think you need to switch the controller port. It's like,
yeah.
Or when you get to like a new part of the map, it's like the press whatever, somebody calls you and tells you like how to shoot your gun, or like,
oh, I see what you're saying.
Like hand holding, or like not letting you get lost, or like, if you can't figure out a puzzle, you're probably going to get a call from your team that like tells you pretty much exactly what to do.
Oh, okay.
Or if you're in a spot where you can't figure something out, like I was fighting the Metal Gear boss and I was like, I can't remember how to do this. It's been a while. I called Otacon, Otaku Convention, for short, Otacon.
Guys, can we just pause here for a second? There's a character in this game. We don't know what his actual legal name is. No clue.
Hal Emmerich.
Okay, apparently his name is Hal Emmerich. He goes the entire game by Otacon.
No, you gotta go find Hal Emmerich, the lead engineer on Metal Gear. You have to go find him. It's a thing you have to do.
I did not realize those were the same people.
Oh my goodness.
You start talking to this guy. Actually, even before you start talking to him, he's just a walking meme. And he sees like the cyborg ninja guy and he goes, it's just like in my Japanese animes, which is not a thing that any person has ever said in their life. And then you introduce yourself to him, and he says, "My name is Otacon. It's short for Otaku Convention. And otaku is a person who's really into Japanese animes." And it's like, stop, please. Please stop. And then the rest of the game, it makes you call him that.
Otacon.
Otacon.
So, unpause. I was fighting Metal Gear Rex. I couldn't remember what the thing to the boss fight. I was like, what is the how do I hurt this thing? This is dumb. I feel
Call the guy who built it.
My rocket is not locking on. So I call it Otaku Convention. And he tells me, you got to hit the circular thing on his left arm. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. So this game, I think, does generally a good job of not letting you get too lost. Or if you're like, I really have no idea what to do, there's always somebody that you can call that will give you a hint. And I think that was something I enjoyed.
Even more basic than that, and this is something that I had written down, is that when you come back to the game when you load up your previous save, it says, do you want to read the mission log? Mm-hmm. And every single time I said, yes, I want to read the mission log, because I never remember, like, when I come back to a game, what am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
Especially in a game with a sort of convoluted plot and
Which one are you talking about?
The one that we just played.
Talking about Super Mario RPG?
No, the one we just played. Metal Gear Solid. The plot is a little bit dense. It's hard to parse. And the objectives aren't always super straightforward. And so it was nice when coming back to read the mission log and be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to try to find Otaku Convention. And then, and the general area where you're supposed to go. And I thought that was helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. And we kind of touched on my next point a little bit, Jordan. And that is I like the creative mechanics in this game. There's a lot of, I feel like one of the things that makes me love and appreciate Metal Gear, especially now even more for some reason, was like all of just the weird things in this game where like somebody was like, Hideo Kojima was like, what if we made a mechanic where you had to use ketchup to pretend like you put blood on the ground?
Yeah.
To trick a guard. Like, what if we use ketchup? Or
See, I couldn't figure out how to use the ketchup, so I just hid under the bed until the guy tried to find me.
I hid under the bed. But I saw the ketchup in my inventory and I was like, oh, there's something. Yes, that's right. You can like pretend you're dead or something. Cardboard boxes, the Psycho Mantis fight, the fourth wall breaking in this game.
Like all the people keep referring to your controller and different buttons that you're supposed to press.
Or like, I can't remember Meryl's frequency. Oh, that's right. It's on the back of the CD case. It's just like, okay, and on the back of the game case, there's a screenshot of Snake talking to Meryl on the codec. So that's how you know Meryl's codec frequency. There's so much, like, yeah, and like all of it, if you take it kind of like by itself, it's like, that's dumb, that's dumb, that's dumb. But then you go, that's dumb so many times where you're like, what is this that I'm playing? Because like this is an entirely weird experience that you're not going to get anywhere else. And I thought that it somehow transcended dumb and became something else.
Is this like
I appreciate?
There's some connections here because we know that Kojima loves movies.
Yes.
He even says himself that he was raised by movies. Like he grew up as a baby watching movies. Is there something in here where it's like some movies are so bad that they're good? Is it kind of like there are so many dumb things in this game that it's good?
Maybe.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Maybe. Like another one that I have written down is like you got to get past these like laser trip wires, and like there's a comment at the beginning of the game where Snake's like, I snuck in my cigarettes, and like,
yeah, how did he sneak in his cigarettes, Dan?
In his stomach.
Yeah, he ate them, which means when you go to use the cigarettes, how do you get them? They don't ever talk about that part.
He pukes them back up, I'm sure.
No.
So you equip the cigarettes and you can see these tripwires going up and down.
Yeah, except for since the camera angle is super funky and awful, you're not sure if they're going up and down or if they're going back and forth. And so you keep trying.
Careful. You just gotta be careful. But the cigarettes reveal like the lasers. And I was like, this is fun. This is a thing that I remember.
It was interesting. I will give you that. There's definitely a lot of interesting systems. I'm not sure that they're all super obvious, but I guess that rewards you in future playthroughs. And this game was even kind of, you can tell it was meant to be played through multiple times because when you beat the game, they give you an item that's meant to be used on a future playthrough, which is like, oh, okay, all right, you're incentivizing me to actually go back and learn more and do all this stuff. I wish I would have played the game on easy. I actually started the game on easy, and like before I even got through the first cutscene, I said, no, everyone's gonna make fun of me, so I went back and hit reset and started on normal, and then the entire time I regretted it and said I should have just played on easy. But yeah, like they definitely have all these different difficulties and they reward you for playing it multiple times. I had something similar in my notes. I said that there's a creative progression system, especially with the keys. Like the first time you get a key, it only opens level 1 doors, and then you get another key, and now you can open level 1 and 2, so on and so forth until you're opening all the doors in the game. You also get different items which allow you to enter new areas, and like it's similar kind of to like Metroid, not to that same level, but where you get items that allow you to access new parts of the map that you couldn't before. Yeah,
it's definitely a Metroidvania in the most traditional sense.
I agree. I was gonna say that, but I'm glad you did.
So it's called let's reclaim the genre, Metal Gearvania. Konami. Konami birthed an entire genre, all on their own. Jordan, you touched on another point that I have. At the end of the game, you get graded, and you get like an item. I get the bandana. It's got unlimited ammo, or something.
Do you know what causes you to get that or the other thing?
I don't know. So I read, I think, on the Wikipedia page that the third time you play it through, you're in the suit.
So if there's a point in the game where you're being tortured.
Okay, yes.
And if you manage to stay alive the whole time,
you have to refill your life by tapping circle, and he will know if you use auto fire.
Yeah,
I think he says.
So if you do that and you stay alive and you don't hit select to give up, then you get at the end of the game you get a headband that gives you infinite ammo.
Okay,
and that's the good ending because like you get to escape with Meryl or something. I guess.
Spoilers, Jordan.
I don't care. The game's like 40 years old.
40? It's 23 years old.
If you give in. He kills Meryl.
Yes.
And
you save Otaku Convention.
You save Otaku Convention, and he gives you an invisibility suit, a stealth suit.
Oh, that's way better.
Is it? Because the stealth suit, you can always tell where the person is. It's like the worst stealth suit in the world.
But not in the AI. The AI can't tell you where it is.
Maybe. I don't know.
I would rather have that.
That's what happens.
It gave me a grade and a code name, Jordan.
Yeah, you were Elephant, I saw.
Yeah. I'm officially dubbing myself Gray Elephant.
Yeah, I can't remember what I got.
Yeah, what did you think of the last boss fight, Jordan?
It's interesting how they did that. The thing they did,
yeah.
Guys, I didn't finish this game again. Not out of quitting, but just out of running out of time. I made it almost to the end, and I texted Dan, I'm almost at the end, and he's like, oh, there's like 2 hours left, which is just. I think most of it was cutscenes, so I went and read the story, and it's fine. Anyway.
It's funny how you sabotage the games that you subconsciously don't want to finish.
That's not true. I had a great time with Super Mario RPG. I just ran out of time.
Yeah.
The only game I've ever given up on beating, well, besides Battletoads, which we both gave up on beating.
For now.
Surprise,
coming in November, we're doing Battletoads again.
Not in the way you think.
We beat it
this
time.
We're not. Yeah.
That's a joke.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't remember what I was going to say. The only game I've given up on is Final Fantasy VII, and that's just because I had no will to continue.
Lost the will to live.
I lost the will for Cloud to live. Anyway, speaking of the mechanics and speaking of the stealth, the thing I was most worried about coming into this game was the whole stealth thing, because I like to play a game where I run around and just kill everybody, and I don't like to be sneaky because that's the boring part of the game.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of worried that the boring part of the game was going to be the whole game. Now, I should have taken heart in the fact that over a third of this game is cutscenes, so it couldn't, it couldn't be the only part of the game was the stealth thing. But even with the stealth thing is they handled it really well. I think that they handled the stealth thing really well. You have these 2 different cooldown phases. Like, you can just straight up go and shoot a guy, which I did a lot. I would just go shoot a guy, and then you just have to run away. As long as you don't stand right where you killed the guy, you get this cooldown phase where it's red, and that's where people are trying to kill you, and then it turns green, and that's where they're not trying to kill you, they're just trying to find you. And if you last out both cooldown phases, then you get a little walkie-talkie noise, and it says, everybody back to your positions. Like, they don't care that you just killed a guy because you waited 15 seconds, and now they've all forgotten about it. The genome soldiers, they don't mention this in the plot of the game, but they all have some sort of brain defect, apparently, where they forget about things. They're kind of like goldfish. If it happened more than 15 seconds ago, they don't remember it.
Or if you go into a new area.
You don't even have to go into a new area. You literally just go somewhere else in that floor and you're fine.
If they're alerted and you leave the area, the next area that you go into, they're not alerted, even if they're still looking for you.
That's good to know. Good to know.
Just go out the door and come back in.
So if you are a person who's like me and you're like, I don't know about this stealth stuff, well, don't worry about it. You can just go and play it exactly like GoldenEye. You just have to be willing to run a little bit more.
This game does not do a good job of letting you like run and gun. So don't run around and try to
get there. We'll get there. Dan, we're supposed to be on what the game does well.
So many things. It's hard to get through it all.
I'm out.
I'm definitely not. Now you're not going to agree with this, but I'm planting my flag, Jordan. Now I guess let me throw a caveat ahead of my statement.
You always know it's a solid point when you have to disclaim it beforehand.
Adequate point. Now, Jordan, I am a fan of the Resident Evil movies. I will never claim that they are great movies.
Okay.
But like when Alice is like, I'm going to drive through stained glass window on a motorcycle and backflip off of it, and the motorcycle is going to go into a liquor and I'm going to shoot it and it's going to blow up.
Yeah. There's something to be said about spectacle.
Yes. It's like, okay.
There's a reason that Michael Bay is still allowed to make movies, man. And it's not because he makes good ones, it's because he makes flashy ones.
So I like the Resident Evil movies in a dumb, entertaining kind of way. And I feel like the depth of the story and the characters in this game. Hold on.
You just said depth.
You just said depth. Hold on,
in the most shallow. Okay, go
Hold
for
on.
it.
You got to let me finish, man.
I don't have to do anything. I'm an adult. I'm 32 years old. I can do whatever I want.
Desperately need you to stop talking now so that I can continue talking. This is my soapbox. You need to respect it.
The timer ran out. You went red and then you went green and now you're safe again. I'm not angry anymore. Until you alert me by saying something silly again.
Listen. Relatively speaking to the games that would have been around at the time and revisiting a retro game like this, there is a lot of like thought put into these characters. There's a lot of like thought put into the plot. There's way more depth in this game. I mean, even by today's standards, like
there it is. I was going to say, Dan,
I feel like this was probably, I mean, I don't know for a fact, but this was probably a turning point into, besides the RPG genre, maybe into stories in games being like an actual like, oh, you can really tell a story in a video game. Now, I don't know if I completely made that up, but it's like you have these, I don't know, you have Revolver Ocelot and you have Sniper Wolf.
You're just listing off their names. That's not the story.
But
the story.
How are the character names not just the story?
It's just a genealogy. It's just a list of names. This is the thing. The story is bad. Listen, this is what it is. Okay. It's an 80s action movie. It's not supposed to be a good story. It's just, this is the thing. Kojima's even said this. He just took all the stuff he thought would be cool and he put it together.
Yeah.
And so, a big Native American shaman driving a huge tank and then like birds fly out of the sky. And like, okay, like he took a few cool things and put them together.
Yeah.
Does that make a good story?
I didn't say it was good.
No, it's a spectacle. You were talking about the depth of
I said
the characters.
Depth of the characters in the story.
There's no depth.
Okay, let's talk about like Super Mario Brothers. You have a plumber in the Mushroom Kingdom trying to rescue a princess from a lizard.
Nobody would ever in their right mind say that story is even in the top 1,000 things that a Mario game does well.
But I'm just saying, you're missing my point.
I'm not.
My point is when that is the kind of story that you're used to in a game. Oh, it's a bandicoot and he's running away from some stuff and he's in a weird island. and there's a bad guy.
I'm just saying.
Like when you're used to those kinds of games, Jordan.
Maybe I misheard you, but I thought at the beginning of the episode you said, "Welcome to Worth It or Worthless, where every couple weeks we play a game and judge it by today's standards."
Yes.
But if you want to judge it by 1998 standards, we can change the whole plot of the show.
I think even by today's standards, there is a story here that sort of holds up to modern storytelling. Whether it's a good or a bad story, it doesn't matter. I think that there is a well thought out story with a lot of characters.
You cannot say that with a straight face. There's nothing well thought out of the story. You have to have played 2 games that didn't come to America to even remotely understand what's happening in this game.
Not really.
And then even once you do understand what's happening, it's just like, how many twists can we put into one plot? And then by the end of it, you're so twisted up that you don't even understand what's happening. You're just glad that the credits are rolling. So like,
I'm not
that's
saying
fine.
it's
You
like
can,
a
I
great
want you to
story,
hear.
Jordan.
I agree with you. It's entertaining. It's like a bad 80s action movie.
Yes.
I take offense at you saying that there's any sort of depth to it.
How
or
is
that
there
it was
not
like,
when you have all of these characters talking about backstories and all of this? I mean, even when you read, I don't know if there's a lot of plot inside the Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 games themselves. But even the thought of like, there's Big Boss and it's Outer Heaven and Solid Snake is infiltrating this to get these POWs and Gray Fox, and it's like there's more there than you would find in a lot of other.
There's a lot of characters and locations. You're right. You're right. There's a lot of characters and locations. I'm not sure that creates a deep plot of any kind. I would argue that Castlevania 2 had more of a plot than this game does.
Definitely not, but you do you. It's
right.
fine. It's fine. All right, Jordan, I got another point. This is a little bit weird.
All right, let's hear it.
It's a little bit of a nitpick of a good point. I like that the items respawn when you reload the game.
Yeah, no, that's very nice. I hate the whole thing where you have to like go around and you're like trying to put together enough stuff to get into a boss fight. In this game, It's like, okay, I need to get enough grenades or enough health packs to go into this boss fight. Let me just exit and enter this room 3 times, and boom, I'm fully stuck.
It wasn't quite that, but it was like when you turn the game off and reload it.
No. When you leave an area and come back into it, all the stuff is there again.
Just flat out leave an area?
Yeah,
or did you have to go? Because I wasn't able to like cheese it like that, but I noticed that like, oh, there's more bullets here. Like, because some of the items, I was like, am I only going to be able to get this once or not?
Yeah.
And then it wasn't the case, and I was like,
not the case.
Good.
I don't know if you can just like walk out the door and come back in, but on the numerous fetch quests that this game sends you on, I constantly came across in the same playthrough without reloading my game the same items over and over again.
Okay. All right. I see you.
Yeah, I like that.
The items coming back.
Yeah, stuff should respawn. Don't make your players have to like hoard things. You always see the meme about people talking about playing games and you're like, oh, I don't want to use my best thing because I need to save it for the end. And then you get to the end and you have this super overloaded inventory.
Yep.
That's a product of games like being way too stingy with items. Like, just give me what I want when I want it so I don't have to feel like a hoarder. Nobody wants to feel like a hoarder.
Oh, I can't wait to make you play Resident Evil. Resident Evil. You're
too spooky for me.
Spooky for more than one reason. Jordan, back to the story. I have another point. The post-credits sequence, really, I was like, okay. So I finished Metal Gear Solid. I'm like, great. What? Spoiler alert. Revolver Ocelot does not get killed in this game. He gets his hand cut off by Gray Fox.
Yeah.
And then he's just at the end of the game, he's talking to Liquid, and then he's just gone. Well, plot twist after plot twist leading into the nice second Metal Gear Solid game. Like, he's just like, yes, Mr. President. I was like, what? It had been a while.
You liked the final twist.
I liked the final twist of like, oh, the guy that Revolver Ocelot is working for is the president. I was like, okay, I see you. I like that. That gets me excited about this next game. I'm really glad this is a really old video game so I can just go straight to the next game. Plot twist, man.
You do you. That's fine.
I usually do.
That's great. I'm glad that you felt good about it.
It made me feel good enough where I'm like, I'm writing this down.
All right. Anything else that you were compelled to?
Jordan.
Okay. Goodness gracious, man.
One last point. and you didn't have this experience because you didn't finish the game. But I feel like this game was in that so close to overstaying its welcome. Like another 10%, it overstayed its welcome. But when I was done with this game, I was like, all right, that was a good meal. I'm satisfied. I'm not too full. I had enough here. I'm not leaving it going, oh man, I wish that would have been over 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago. I'm not leaving it going, there wasn't enough here. I feel like this game was a good length, and it got out of there just in time for me to like feel good about it.
You're right. I can't really say anything about it. I don't really know. I feel like, I don't know. I don't really know.
You don't know.
I don't know, man.
My playthrough was like 11 hours and some change, like 11 and a half hours.
Yeah. I was coming up on 9. So I definitely had a little bit left to go.
Yeah. But after that, I was like, yeah, I don't want any more. So, Jordan, that's all I have.
Awesome.
That's all I have.
Let's move to the fun part of the episode.
All right. So, Jordan, what would you pay for the experience you had with Metal Gear Solid?
I deserve that.
I actually was going to do that before you even
I know you were,
punked me on what the game did well.
You always do that to me.
But I knew that you just wanted to like hate on this game, and it's a great game, and there's nothing really not to like. So I just don't know why we're even going to do the segment.
I don't hate this game. This is the thing. I need to put this out there. I'm not sure what sort of vibe I'm giving off right now. I feel like I have to try to bring things back to balance because Dan is not being realistic about this game.
Oh, okay. Yep. All right.
I don't hate this game. I had a good time with this game. Now, at the beginning, when I first started playing it, I was struggling. I actually texted Dan, I don't understand what anybody likes. I couldn't find like a single redeemable quality about the game. And that's because you're thrown in, it's difficult. I didn't have any sort of muscle memory or to even know what I'm supposed to be doing. And then as soon as I start to feel like I'm getting comfortable with it, here's a super long cutscene. And then by the time it comes back, I'm like, what is a controller? What are buttons? Because it's been 40 years and I don't remember what's happening anymore. So I don't hate this game. I actually ended up by the end of it having a good handle of the controller, understanding what I'm supposed to be doing. I found the button that lets me skip the cutscenes. So I was having a pretty good time with that.
It's no wonder you're going to argue about the story. You're like, I found the skip the cutscenes button. Why do you like the story, Dan?
I'm mostly joking. I didn't really skip most of it, but by the time I got to the point where I was skipping any of it, it was beyond the point of the story making any sense. So this is the thing. My number one complaint about this game is the cutscenes. 4 hours of cutscenes, and it's not like, man, this is so good. Think about a movie, you guys. A movie, like an animated movie is typically between 60 and 90 minutes long.
Okay.
And that's like a good animated movie where although the colors aren't gray and you can actually tell what's happening. This is a 4-hour animated movie animated on the PlayStation 1 and you want to rip your eyes out because it's just like the most pixely, dark, muddy nonsense you've ever seen. Not only that, but the plot doesn't make any sense, and so you're just stuck there like watching, and it's like each boss has to give you their backstory and they're like, I'm from Chechnya, my life is so hard, where's my boyfriend, he likes Japanese animes, and you're like, I truly just don't care. And there was way too many cutscenes. I'm sorry.
You know what's funny about you mentioning like the pixelated gray green drabness of this game?
Yeah.
So to try to do some homework today, I watched the beginning of Metal Gear Solid 2, the HD version on my Vita, and I spent about 25-30 minutes watching the opening of that game. And it was funny, after I spent 11 and a half hours staring at a PS1 game, I remembered why we all thought PS2 games looked amazing when they came out.
Did they use more than 3 colors in that game?
They used more than 3 colors. The face wasn't flat. It looked smooth and nice, and I was like, this game looks good. And all I would have to do is look at like one modern game to know that it doesn't really look that good. But after staring at Metal Gear Solid 1 for so long, I was like, oh, I got that feeling again of like, oh, the next generation looks really good.
Yeah. So and just to go on with the whole thing about the 4-hour cutscenes, Dan, did you know that the boss fights and their respective cinematics are roughly 2 hours?
Okay.
That's just, it's too much. Too much bosses, too much boss backstory, too much in the middle of the boss fight cutscenes, most of which are unskippable. And so when you're redoing the Psycho Mantis boss fight for the 18th time because you're on the PlayStation Classic and you can't do the thing you're supposed to do to beat it, and you have to watch the unskippable cutscenes again, you're just like, please no.
What are you talking about? There weren't like super long unskippable cutscenes, and when it's a codec, you can button mash your way through it.
This is the thing. There should be no such thing as an unskippable cutscene, especially when I'm watching it for the 6th time.
Okay. I mean,
so the cutscenes in this game, I used to say, I love the cutscenes. This game and others that we've played recently are really making me doubt myself, and I can't anymore.
Yeah, I don't agree necessarily.
You think 4 hours of cutscene in an 11-hour game is acceptable?
I think okay. It's what Metal Gear Solid is though, and that's the thing. That's part of the interesting and fun thing about the franchise is you get to watch movies with it. And I think that is something that's interesting to me about the blending. If I want to watch a movie,
I'll go watch a good movie.
I mean, that's fine.
This isn't The Godfather. This isn't even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1991. This is like not even on that level.
That's a great movie. It's 1990.
This isn't the Super Mario Bros. Movie. It's not even like the level of compelling as the widely like panned Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Another underrated movie, but anyways, yeah, I don't agree because I know what I'm getting here. When you're sitting down for Metal Gear, it's kind of like, yeah, you're gonna get cutscenes, and
you knew that.
I knew that.
I didn't know that.
And, well, congratulations. Now you know. So when we play Metal Gear Solid 2 next month, that's another joke. I
don't know what's a joke anymore because we played Castlevania and then 8 weeks later we played Castlevania 2. So I can never be too safe.
That's right. You got to remember that. You're never too safe. Yeah. I mean, I can certainly understand so the downside with, and I said this to you before we started recording, with like a bunch of cutscenes is you're not going to be like, I'm just going to go play Metal Gear Solid for like 15 minutes real quick. No. I got a few minutes to like, I got to run out and pick up the kids from school or whatever. I got to go to work, but I got a few extra minutes. You're not going to sit down and like get a little Metal Gear in because you might end up in the middle of a really long cutscene or conversation, and that's just not.
Yeah, there are multiple cutscenes in this game that would go 15 minutes, and you'd be like, all right, well, let me save.
Yeah.
I just watched half of a not great animated episode of TV.
It's fine. Jordan, all right. I think we're gonna start to finally
find some balance here, some things that we agree on.
The binaural beats are gonna start to even out. We're gonna get on the same wavelength here a little bit.
All right.
Controls.
Yeah. That's my next point.
And on the controls, I think I can tack on the camera as well. I have 2 points. Camera and controls.
That's literally what my next thing says. Camera and controls.
Combined to make this like, yep, this is a PS1 game. Yep, this is that era of games where they hadn't quite figured out how to make it feel good.
This is the thing about it, though. The camera and the controls work really well for the stealth stuff, and they don't work for anything else that happens in the game.
True. Like when we joked about running and gunning earlier. You can't. Okay, so to shoot the FAMAS, the automatic rifle in this game, you stop and it's like you're turning on a what kind of angle is that where you just like spin in place?
A lazy Susan. You're standing on a lazy Susan.
Standing on a lazy Susan.
Because she would not move. And
trying to aim at some guy. Like the SOCOM pistol does a pretty decent job of automatically aiming at targets.
If you hit the square button, it'll automatically aim at something, then you hit it again to shoot. It doesn't work on any other gun in the game.
Yeah.
Or at least it doesn't work the way they say it does.
So if you want to like run and gun, like you don't want to be stealthy, you just want to run. Good luck, because every time you want to shoot something, you have to stop, and then you're getting swarmed by 3 guys, and you don't have like a ton of health, and there's not like a ton of health items. There's enough to get you through the game when you're playing properly and stealthy. But yeah, overall, there were a lot of times in this game where you're just like, I failed because of the controls or the camera, or there's a first person mode when you press triangle, and one of the
rocket launchers.
No, not the rocket launchers. Evolutions. One of the things that the franchise improved in future iterations was you could shoot in first person.
Okay.
But in this game, it's like you can't really do anything but look around in first person.
You can shoot one of the rocket launchers.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But you can't move your rocket up and down in first person mode. So
no. Oh man. So anyways, a lot of the things that the frustration with this game is just like, I can't quite do what I want to do. I can't move the camera, and they moved into third person with Metal Gear Solid 3 and stuff. And I think it got a lot better after that, more modern and stuff, where you could like look around like you can in normal video games. But in this one, there's a lot of frustration with fighting with the camera, or like,
it's almost like they modeled the camera using Legos or something.
You like lean against a wall to kind of like see around it, which another cool mechanic is like you can knock on the wall and get their attention, which is fun.
You can?
Yeah, if you're leaning against the wall and you hit circle, you'll knock on the wall.
Never knew that.
Congratulations. You just should have known better. So you can mess with the AI a little bit. Hey, come over here. I can't figure out how to do this. Oh, it's just a box. How much did you use the cardboard box?
I'm not really a stealth kind of guy. I got the wolf to pee on it, and then I used it to, you can get a wolf to pee on it, and then you can crawl around and the wolves won't go after you because you smell like wolf pee.
You can also get Sniper Wolf's handkerchief, which does the same thing.
Yeah, so the first time you have to backtrack through the wolves, the pee box is helpful, and then the second time you have to backtrack through the wolves. Which, if you're done with controls, brings me to my next point about what this game doesn't do well.
Okay.
Is that backtracking and stealth is an annoying combo. This game has you... The map of this game isn't actually all that big. It's basically 3 buildings with some areas separating them. But for some reason, they thought it'd be a genius idea to make you backtrack through the entire game on multiple occasions. And you might say, oh, but they built in fast travel with the cardboard box. So I tried that, and it's actually even longer than just walking back, because you have to go through a whole section doing stealth stuff that you wouldn't have to do. It's like, I just want to go back and get the thing. I don't want to have to be all stealthy again. I already was stealthy one time. I killed all these guys. Why are they back? It's awful. Backtracking and stealth are an awful combination, and this game has you do way too much backtracking.
I figured out on accident that you could fast travel based on so there's, I think, 3 cardboard boxes, and they say they're labeled different areas.
I only found 2.
And so when you get in the back of a truck, depending on the box that you have, they drive you to an area of the map. But it doesn't end up being all that useful, because I was like, oh, this is going to be useful, and then it just wasn't that useful. But it was a fun thing that I had discovered on accident.
Yeah, it's a cool, quirky thing that isn't actually very helpful.
But yeah, there's the backtracking in this game feels like it was in the same way that a lot of retro games artificially extend themselves by the difficulty, like being stupid hard for no good reason. This game feels like it extended its life a few hours with backtracking. Like, oh, I'm fighting Sniper Wolf. Oh, she shot Meryl. Oh, I have to go get a sniper rifle from the building that I was in an hour ago, or whatever. It's like, well, okay. Like, why? Why wouldn't I have found one along the way?
You do that, and then you have to do the whole thing again immediately afterward, because you get trapped, and now they're just like, what if we took them back there one more time, just for laughs? It was too much. It was too much. You don't need all that.
Jordan, speaking of the boss fights, on paper, the boss fights are awesome. In practice, most of them aren't fun.
I don't know if like the early boss fights just sucked and then the later ones got better, or if I just got better at the game or what. But man, like that cyborg ninja fight was not fun and took way too long, had way too many like when you're fighting a boss and then there's like, this is the first mode and then you beat that.
Yeah.
Here's the second
Different phases, yeah.
The phases, thank you.
Yes.
And they just keep getting more and more annoying.
Yeah.
Both Cyborg Ninja and Psycho Mantis were just obnoxious. And I'm like, I just want to be done with this fight. But then there were other ones that were like the tank one and the Sniper Wolf, both of her fights. Yeah. I was like, okay, those were both really easy. So
it's the sniping feels terrible.
Sniping feels terrible.
You got to take diazepam. Is that
diazepam?
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out how to take it. I would just put it up and I was like, is this working if I'm just having it up as like a neutral?
No, you got to press circle with the menu open. Did you read the direct? It literally tells you on the thing.
I don't know. It was fine. So I fought her without the drugs apparently because I didn't know what I was doing.
It's a terrible way to do it. And you still had an easy time with it.
It was fine. Okay. Yeah, it was fine. I found like a spot where I could hit her and she couldn't hit me. And then in the second fight, I just used rockets, the flying wire rockets. So I just hid where she couldn't see me and I just blew her up with the rocket. Well, I used a guide. You guys, you got to play this game with a guide. It's not a game you should try to play without a guide because you're going to have all of these things that you just, once you've played it through one time with a guide, then you'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's interesting. You're like, I fought her with the rockets. Like, I didn't think of that. I'm glad that this game, to the strengths of it, like it lets you do stuff like that.
You should have figured it out because it literally gives you rocket ammo.
Well, and that's another thing about the hand holding that it does well is like you kind of get an idea of what you're supposed to be doing by the items that they place in an area. So that's nice. Jordan, last point that I have, you're not, I mean, we've already talked about this, but it is hard to figure out some of the details of the story.
Yeah, no, the story is incomprehensible. You have to have played the other games or read a Wikipedia page to have any idea what's going on. And the entire story is a continuation of a previous story that you don't get any hint of. Well, in the game, you can actually go in the options and it will let you read multiple page summaries of the first two games. But if you don't want to sit down and read a short novel,
it's an option, though.
In a novella, if you will, before you play the game, you will be lost. So if you're going to play this game and you haven't immersed yourself in the lore of Metal Gear, you might want to go and read those so you have some concept of what is happening in this game.
Or play other Metal Gear games before you play this one. Because like when I was, I've played all of them except for the third one now. And I didn't know who Big Boss was the last time I played Metal Gear Solid. Like really. Like now I'm like, oh, I know who Big Boss is. So one of the terrorist demands is Big Boss's ashes. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense to me now because I know more about that character. But throughout this like game, as I was like sitting there, like watching the conclusion where like all of the twists are happening. And I'm like, so wait, they were using Snake. Is this guy a bad guy? Is this guy not a bad guy? Snake is okay, so he's sent on this mission for this reason, and the government told him it's this reason, but the government are the bad guys, but they're not the bad guys, but they are. And then you're like, the terrorists, Foxhound, are like manipulating Snake to their own end, but the real reason that he was sent in was to take out the terrorists. But it's like, I was like, what the whole point happened here? And now I understand it now that I like.
No, you're not meant to understand it. The whole point is that war is hell and there's moral ambiguity and the guys you think are the good guys aren't always the good guys and the bad guys aren't always irredeemable. And like that's the point he's trying to make. And instead of just making that point, he spends 4 hours just, I don't even know anymore.
And then this game ends with like all of this I don't know the word I want to use, but it's like, Fox Die is this virus that's like killing the people that it's programmed to kill. And like Snake has been infected with Fox Die.
If you're listening to this and you've never played this, you're going to be so confused. It doesn't make any sense.
But to just finish my point real quick, Fox Die is killing the people it's programmed to kill. And Snake is supposed to die from Fox Die.
Maybe.
And then he's like, when is it going to kill me? She's like, just live, Snake. Just live. And like the end of this game is all about just living.
Guys, the whole point of the game is YOLO. Just make the most of your life.
But Jordan, do you believe that love can bloom on a battlefield?
That's another one of the just choice quotes from Otacon.
Please don't kill each other. I love both of you.
Yeah. Like, were you supposed to feel... They set this up. They spend multiple scenes setting up this whole thing about how Otacon, Otaku Convention, loves this Chechnyan sniper lady, and he's pleading with you not to kill her, and you get to this whole, like, emotional scene that's supposed to... I'm imagining it's supposed to, like, pull at your heartstrings, and I felt nothing. All I felt was, where's the skip button?
You're like, you beat Sniper Wolf, and you're about to, like... You know, she's like, end my life or whatever.
Oh,
and then she's like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
I need my sniper rifle. That's
now I'm whole. Now I'm whole. I need my rifle. It's bad. It's really bad.
Oh, what a game.
There's so much depth there, though, you guys. There's so much depth.
There is way more depth in this game than you would get from a lot of other games.
There's more depth in the average Walker, Texas Ranger episode than in the entire 11 hours of this game.
Whatever, man. Agree to disagree. Agree to disagree.
I won't agree.
Just wait till you learn about the Lali Lulelo.
Again, no idea what that means.
So it's funny. I've beaten Metal Gear Solid 2 once.
Okay.
All the way through. And I can't tell you what happened in it. I just remember something about the Lali Lulelo. I don't know who they are.
Oh, it's a group.
It's something about Revolver Ocelot. Something about the Patriots. Something about Solidus, who was like the third twin.
That's called a triplet.
The third clone of Big Boss. That's good. Good catch. I like that. Always on point.
The terrible infants.
Les enfants terribles.
All right. Is there anything else you want to say? I think that's plenty.
Let's move on.
Okay.
So, Jordan, what would you pay for the experience that you had with Metal Gear Solid?
Okay, so this isn't a video game. This is a movie.
Okay.
And at our movie theater that I go to around us, a matinee, which is what I would be willing to pay for this game, is $6. It's a $6 matinee.
Okay.
And that also gets me some points towards free concessions.
Okay.
So I would say that's roughly what I would be willing to pay for this one. And then I would be disappointed and probably leave a less than solid review on IMDb afterwards.
What percentage on Rotten Tomatoes would you think that Metal Gear Solid should have?
So this is the thing about this game. There are so many people who call this a perfect game. They call it a masterpiece. If you go on Metacritic...
Not by today's standards.
Not by today's standards, what I'm saying. There's everybody who goes on there and they say this game is a masterpiece, it's amazing. Maybe it was.
At the time, I can imagine it being just like utter.
Yeah.
So you get the N64 comes out and it's got like Mario 64 and Pilot Wings. And then like a couple of years later, you get like Metal Gear Solid. It's like, What is this?
I recognize, sure. Yeah. It was probably a big deal in 1998.
Yeah.
But as a person experiencing it for the first time in 2021, it's fine. It's fine. Like, I didn't hate it. I actually ended up enjoying parts of it. I didn't like parts of it. It definitely shows its age. It's not a terrible game by any means. It's not a bad game. It's fine. It's solid. The name is perfect. I like what you did there. It's Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I just it's not the thing that the scores. If you go online and look up the reviews for this game, there are almost no negative reviews on this game.
Yeah.
So, respect to the game. It was a phenomenal piece of gaming history.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure that I got that experience in 2021 playing it for the first time.
I was getting feelings of Castlevania 2 with this game where it's like there's something here that could definitely be improved in future iterations, and definitely was. It's like, man, this is a rough draft of something phenomenal.
Yeah.
But overall, I still had a good time with it. I like the characters. Like I said, I mean, the thing is dumb. I mean, the story is dumb. It's like the plot twists are like, oh, that's I like that. It's dumb though.
Yeah.
But overall, I'm leaving this going like, yeah, I'm really glad I liked this experience. I almost feel like I like the Metal Gear Solid franchise more after revisiting this, just because it's like, man, there's not a lot of games out there that do all the weirdness that this game does, and I really like that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely worth exploring as a like part of gaming history. If you're the kind of person who like, if you want a really cool story, there are other ways to get that. You know, like we live in there's an age where there's a gazillion movies you could go watch. If you want to play a game that scratches the same itch, I would imagine you could play one of the more modern Metal Gear games and get the similar kind of thing without having to play the PS1 one. Is that correct, would you say, Dan?
I don't know. Maybe. I haven't.
The more modern ones don't reflect the same kind of gameplay.
Well, you're talking about games that I played years ago, so they're not fresh in my mind. So I don't know that they're going to scratch the same itch as this one. But
basically, what I'm trying to say is, if you were just really itching for an action stealth adventure, go play Untitled Goose Game, and you're going to probably have more fun.
I don't know about that. For me, I was like, man, I was like thinking about it, and then I wasn't thinking about it, and then I was thinking about it, and I wasn't thinking about it. I'm like, where am I coming in at this one?
Yeah.
Because I've been in a broad range, and then I was looking at price charting and what the game's going for, and I'm like, well, was it this or was it this? Because now initially I felt like it was this higher price, and now that I'm looking at this, it's like, oh, well, that's like a lower price. Do I actually? I'm like, I don't know. So I'm just gonna say what I originally maybe thought, which was like about $30 was where I'm coming in at.
$30, Dan.
I had $30 of experience with the goofiness of this game, the stupid characters, otaku convention, the twists, the love story.
You can buy some serious. Okay, all right, $30. Holy cow, man.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I want to play Metal Gear Solid 2. I'm ready for the sequel. Just let me know when I can play it.
Jeez. Okay. All right.
$30 on
you
this
can
one.
go play it right after we're done.
No, I can't. Who's got that kind of time? I watched the opening cutscene. It was like 25 minutes long or something, between like the James Bond like music video where I'm like, what is this relevant? No, it's not relevant. You're just doing credits, and it's like a James Bond opening where it's like all like weird or whatever. And it wasn't. And then I think the opening cutscene was like 15 minutes long or something. I don't know. So anyways, I'm primed for more Metal Gear. What do you think it's going for, Jordan? I only have complete in-box prices.
Well, yeah, it's a disc. That's the only way you should buy it.
Yeah.
I know just based on the way that people talk about this game, the reviews it gets, like people are delusional about this game.
Okay.
There's no chance it's selling for less than like $42.
Okay. Wow. No, Jordan, you're
right.
a bit off. Now, the complete in box black label North American PS1 version.
Okay.
$40.
Okay, that was pretty right on. I don't know why you said I was wrong.
The greatest hits version, green label North American.
Yeah.
$25 complete in box.
Okay.
So you were a little over on the black label version.
$2.
Now, it's one of our favorite numbers. Now, Jordan, you were dead on when it comes to the PAL complete in box.
42?
42.
Ooh, baby.
But I know if I would have asked you about the PAL version, you would have just said it was like 86.
Probably.
And of course, I think their greatest hits is platinum. I think that's what it's called in PAL regions. I couldn't tell.
Okay.
Platinum version of this complete in box, $22.
All right.
PAL version.
So very similar.
Now, there was a GameCube version.
The Twin Snakes?
The Twin Snakes.
Just giving away the twist right in the name of the game.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
But what do you think the GameCube completed box is going for?
GameCube stuff is stupid expensive. I'm guessing
Correct.
the GameCube one is got to look better than the PlayStation 1.
I would think it came out in 2004, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Could be.
I'm going to say that one's going for $84.
So the player's choice version,
That's the cheap one.
the cheap one, is going for $79.
Oh, goodness. Oh,
And the completed
no.
box regular GameCube version going for $93.
Oh, my goodness. Well, R.I.P. to any of you GameCube collectors out there.
If you
I'm
want
sorry.
the definitive experience, you're gonna cough up an arm and a leg for that one, unfortunately. Although there's still a part of me that's like, maybe I should experience. Maybe I should watch that on YouTube.
Oh, okay. That's
Probably,
fine.
maybe.
You can watch it for free.
I want to play it, but I would probably be smarter to watch Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes, the movie, on YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, so $25 you can get this game, Jordan, or it's on the PlayStation Classic, which I'm pretty sure you can get for like $3. Nobody likes that thing. I think it's actually like $20. The mini,
That's
the
pretty
PlayStation
funny.
Mini,
Yeah,
I think is
that's
very
funny
cheap.
that you can get the PlayStation Classic for cheaper than one of the games on it. But
Well, I mean, the Super Nintendo Classic, the NES Classic. I think that's the case for pretty much all of them
good point. Yeah,
at this point. I mean, Super Mario RPG, I'm pretty sure is more expensive than the Super Nintendo Classic, but
yeah.
could be wrong. $25. I'm calling that worth it.
You would. That's less than what you said you'd pay for it. It's too rich for me.
Too rich for you,
There's-
really?
Think about it. $25. That's like you're going to the movies, you're getting a drink and popcorn, and you're probably seeing
No,
it
I'm not.
in IMAX or something.
Definitely not.
What are you talking about?
I'm not getting a drink and popcorn at the movies.
Why would you even go if you're not getting a drink and popcorn?
I'm going to a matinee and I'm not getting drink and popcorn, Jordan.
That's
You're talking to a guy who doesn't order delivery pizza because he would rather go pick it up himself.
You need to take advantage of rewards points, Dan. I don't ever pay for my drink and
Whatever,
popcorn.
man.
Those are free.
Okay.
Those are free, man. You gotta get the rewards card, man.
Oh, man. So you're calling it worthless. I'm calling you wrong. It's worth it.
That's fine. That's worth it for you. Worthless for me. We're gonna just say that it's nothing. It's right in the middle.
Net neutral.
It's a net neutral. Yeah,
Is that what that's what the kids guys say?
that's what we say. That's what us kids say.
Jordan, do we have trivia today?
We do, and I think you already spoiled one of them, as you do. These were actually sent in to us because we tell you guys you can always send in trivia.
Yes. About any of the games we've covered.
Any of the games we've covered or whatever we're going to be covering coming up.
Yeah.
But these ones are from T20 Jude Ha. And the first one, which I think you already answered, was what was the game originally going to be called?
Metal Gear 3?
Yeah. Instead of Metal Gear 3, they called it Metal Gear Solid because the first two Metal Gear games just didn't have that level of popularity in the United States. All right, here, let's see if you know this one. Which two action icons were the inspiration for Solid Snake? Do you know?
Christopher Walken was the face. Thought that was interesting.
Okay, what?
Christopher Walken.
That's an actual thing?
I saw that on Wikipedia.
Oh, that's not one of the two. So I guess there was multiple action icons. I
Okay.
wouldn't really call Christopher Walken an action icon.
Okay, well, maybe. So, yeah, I read Christopher Walken, I think.
Wow. I would surprised. It's not really the kind of guy
I think
would
it's
go
a
to
young Christopher Walken. Looks like
a young Christopher.
probably
Walken.
looks like the face of Solid Snake. Not the
I just assumed he was born a 60-year-old man.
like Morgan Freeman. All right, hit me with it.
All right. Which two action icons were the inspiration for Solid Snake? Was it James Bond and Snake Plissken, Bruce Lee and Jean-Claude Van Damme, Tom Cruise and Rambo, or Chuck Norris and Jackie Chan?
So Snake Plissken is. Oh, wait a minute. No, I got confused because. Okay,
So James Bond and Snake Plissken. That's A. B is Bruce Lee and Jean-Claude Van Damme. C is Tom Cruise and Rambo, and D is Chuck Norris and Jackie Chan.
I think in Metal Gear Solid 3, Big Boss is named like Iroquois Pliskin. And I had a friend in high school who was like super into this franchise. And that's the only reason I know. And then I saw something on the Wikipedia about Snake Plissken, and I was like, isn't that the character? And now I'm like, no, it can't be if I'm reading it. So I think it is the first one you said.
You are right. James Bond and Snake Plissken. Snake Plissken is the name of the protagonist from Escape from New York and Escape from LA.
That's right.
The guy with the eye patch.
Okay.
Yeah, that's who that is.
Gotcha. But I feel like I've read something about Jean-Claude Van Damme or another guy as well with the Christopher Walken thing.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I just made up the other ones, just trying to come up with some combinations that might trick you.
I think his face is, and now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I could kind of see a young Christopher Walken.
I heard that they actually modeled his hands off of an older Chuck Norris.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a lot of detail in this game, like the face detail, the hand details. So they could really take specific pieces of different bodies.
One of the things that I really noticed in the opening of Metal Gear Solid 2 was how Snake's nose actually came off of his face.
Oh.
I was like, oh.
That's creepy.
Models.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he looks like that's the shape of a face.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
No, his nose was sticking out.
Three-dimensional nose. It wasn't removed from his face in some sort of zombie-esque horror show.
Yes, no.
Okay, I got you. I was a little bit terrified. I was like, what happened to Snake between the two games? So speaking of trivia, if you want to send us trivia for our next game, the next game we're going to be playing is...
You're about
to say Metal Gear Solid 2.
No, I wasn't. I was trying to do like a Carnage voice or something. I don't know.
Oh.
Maximum Carnage is the next game. I was trying to think of so the Resident Evil games generally will open with Resident Evil.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that there was some non-existent thing where somebody says Maximum Carnage in a creepy way.
So Dan told me that we were going to play Maximum Carnage, which is a Spider-Man and Venom and Carnage kind of game.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's really timely because Venom and Carnage, that movie just came out like, I don't know, less than a month ago. And in a month
the critics are raving. It's the best superhero movie ever, right?
It doesn't have a great critics rating, but it has a very high audience score.
Does it?
Yeah.
I was just kidding. I don't know anything about it. I didn't even know it was
Spider-Man. There's a Spider-Man movie coming out in like a month and a half.
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Supposed to save the box office and bail out Hollywood and make $1 gazillion. So
really?
See. Yeah.
Marvel's last, didn't Marvel put out like a couple of...
Shang-Chi just came out a little bit ago, and Black Widow earlier than that. But this will be, this is Spider-Man. It's on a whole different level. You got to, Spider-Man's on a different level. He's had this is going to be his 8th movie. It's a little bit different than introducing a brand new character like Shang-Chi. But Shang-Chi made a lot of money. Like almost made $450 million or something like that so far.
So 8 Spider-Man movies must mean that there were 7 great ones.
I think that most people's... Oh, this will be the 9th Spider-Man movie. Most people's favorite Spider-Man movie is Spider-Man 3. Oh, no, I forgot. Andrew Garfield didn't get 3, so this is only 8. Everybody loves Spider-Man 3, Amazing Spider-Man 2, and so I'm guessing that Tom Holland's 3rd Spider-Man movie will probably be in that same vein of like quality, like Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2. One can only hope.
So every once in a while, it's been a long time, but every once in a while, I'm like, I have to watch Spider-Man 3 just to make sure that I didn't miss it.
No, you didn't.
And every time I come back, I'm like, nope, it was, no.
It's what you remember.
It's what I thought it was. Didn't miss it. There's something.
So the problem with Spider-Man 3 is the fact that they tried to shoehorn in 1 million characters. Like, they're all cool characters, but there's just too many of them. And that's sort of the problem with Metal Gear Solid 2. It's like Revolver Ocelot, Decoy Octopus,
Sniper Wolf, Liquid Snake,
Solid
Snake, Gray Fox,
lots of cool things.
Vulcan Raven. I love the names of Foxhound, and I love how.
Do you?
I actually, so like
Solid Snake and Liquid Snake sounds more like a toilet commercial that you don't want to think too hard about that.
But I love how Foxhound is like Revolver Ocelot.
That one's cool.
Decoy Octopus.
Well, that's cool.
Vulcan Raven. sniper, wolf. It's like, you guys really put a lot of thought into naming.
They're all like, it's some sort of descriptive word and then an animal, and then you have big boss.
Yeah. I think
Otaku convention.
I think you're gonna like characters in future Metal Gear Solid games.
I don't
such as
anticipate playing any future Metal Gear Solid games.
The boss and the end and the pain.
That's gracious. All right, what's next?
We got a bounty, Jordan.
Ooh, there's a bounty out.
Bounty. Metal Gear?
Metal Gear, yeah. This month we're giving away some Metal Gear swag.
Lid.
What?
Metal Gear swag lid.
Oh, I got you. Metal Gear swag lid. Okay.
Nope.
Yes, we're going to give away some Metal Gear merch. We'll call it Metal Gear merch.
Metal Gear merch. We got it's fan gamer stuff. We're giving away a Metal Gear Solid water bottle and a little enamel pin set with Snake and Raiden.
I think that technically the water bottle would be Metal Gear Liquid Snake, not Solid Snake.
Nope.
Anyway, you can win some cool stuff. All you have to do to enter the giveaway this month is to send us a direct message on one of our social media things. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook by searching for @WIOW podcast. You can also send Dan or myself a direct message on Discord. You can find the link to that, the invitation link to that, in the description of this episode, or you can send us an email
at worthitoworthlesspodcast@gmail.com.
All of those entries will be added to our list that we'll draw from at the end of the month. You can also earn some bonus entries by participating all month on Discord. Those bonus entries you get just for coming in and talking and having a good time with a good community, but you don't get those bonus entries unless you actually submit an actual entry.
Yes.
And if you have questions about all of the legal qualifications and all of the things surrounding the giveaway or what you need to do, just go and read the description. It's all in there.
And now all we need to say, Jordan, is what they have to send us to actually be entered, because we didn't say just what the bounty entry is.
That's so true. Send us a direct message and let us know, what is your favorite wacky mechanic from a video game? So maybe it's the cardboard box from Metal Gear Solid. Maybe it is the frog suit from Mario. I don't know.
Is that a goofy mechanic?
It's pretty goofy. I'm thinking the boot. When you're in the boot and you're jumping, that's a goofy mechanic.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sure. I mean, we'll be flexible.
We're not going to be...
Whatever's quirky. I mean, the idea is Metal Gear is weird in quirky ways, like hiding in cardboard boxes or like letting a wolf pee on a cardboard box so that you smell like a wolf and they don't attack you, or breaking the fourth wall where it's mash the circle button to restore your life.
Weird mechanics are subjective, so we're not going to tell you your thing isn't weird enough, okay? So just send us whatever your favorite weird mechanic is from a video game. We'll add you to the list and you can win some Metal Gear merch.
Yes. Metal Gear swaglet.
Oh, goodness.
Jordan, we already said next episode, Maximum Carnage.
Yes.
How you feeling about this one? Do you know anything about it?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man? You like Spider-Man games? Can't be bad, right?
I do. I know that this is a single-player beat-em-up, which is always interesting, but we've played Separation Anxiety, which I think is the sequel to this.
I think
correct? So
sounds right.
We'll find out. You'll tune in a couple weeks for more stuff. We haven't done our cursory research yet.
Yes.
So I'm excited. I'm always excited for a Marvel game. Always excited for beat 'em ups, and I think the timing is perfect on this one.
Yes. And Jordan, we got a lot going on in November. We're trying an experiment. We're trying a book club about Metal Gear Solid. There's a company out there called Boss Fight Books, and they write really detailed books on video games.
Yes.
And there's a Metal Gear Solid book that I was like, let's try this one.
Yeah.
So I think at some point in November, when we know more details, we'll announce. But we're gonna have like a roundtable discussion. If you want to join us in reading the Metal Gear Solid Boss Fight book, that is a thing that we're going to be doing. So
yes, shoot us a message. Let us know if you're going to be participating in that, or if you're going to be reading, just so we can have an idea of how many people to expect.
Also, Jordan, in November, Extra Life on November 13th. We're raising money for the kids. For a local children's hospital. So we will be live on Twitch at twitch.tv/worthitoworthless on November 13th from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be doing some co-op games. We're going to be doing some versus games. I think we're going to play some Smash with the community. I think we might even play some Perfect Dark online. HD, maybe.
Ooh, we'll see.
We'll see.
This is the thing. We need to let you guys know that if you're listening in the future, it is currently 2021.
Yes,
so
that
November
is correct.
13th, 2021.
That is correct. Thank you.
All day in Eastern time zone. We will be playing. So jump on there. It's for the kids.
Yeah.
We'll have different amounts of money you can donate to make us do things. Like
yes.
play games we don't want to play or all sorts of stuff. So tune in.
Challenges.
It'll be fun for you.
For the kids, you can make Jordan beat a Mega Man boss without dying from the beginning of a level for half an hour.
No.
For 30, we're putting 30-minute time limits on
Okay,
stuff
that's
like that.
good because that might not happen.
Jordan, finally, we're launching a Patreon.
We are
On November 5th. We're finally doing it.
Yes, for years and years, we've been getting messages from people saying, how can I give you money and get a service or good
Is that what the message
in return? Like, yes, please, I'd like to give you money in return for services or goods. I'd like to be a patron of your art. And we've said,
the art of Worth It or
not
Worthless.
yet, but it's finally time. So yeah, we're gonna launch it. There's gonna be all sorts of cool stuff that comes with that. So keep your ear to the ground, and we'll have some more information on that soon.
Yeah, that's going to include a new monthly podcast, early access to this one. Another thing that we're trying to do soon, it's going to include merch discount.
Ooh, discount.
So we're going to be having some shirts for you guys if you want those and some other stuff.
A shirt is a good thing to have because a lot of buildings, when you try to go in them, they'll have a sign that says no shirt, no shoes, no service. We won't be selling shoes yet, but a shirt, we can cover the shirt for you. So
yes, of course.
It's good to have a shirt.
So we'll keep you guys posted on all that stuff. I'm sure we'll post about it on social media and put links wherever we can, probably in the description of this podcast when we have links for you. And hope you guys will join us on that journey.
Yes.
Jordan, do we have anything else?
I think that's going to do it for this one.
Jordan, I think the day that this episode comes out, yesterday, Nintendo officially launched the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass.
Oh, yeah.
I think that comes out on October 25th, and I believe this episode comes out on October 26th.
Yeah, and that was universally regarded as a great deal. I think people said that was just a really good deal.
People are so happy about they stuck Nintendo sticking the landing on this one. So I say all of that to say the expansion pass includes Animal Crossing DLC.
Yeah.
So what better way to end the show than with some Animal Crossing music in honor of Nintendo?
Even better if you don't want to pay an obscene price for maybe what isn't a great amount of product. There's a free Animal Crossing update that came out yesterday, and so you don't even have to have bought the overpriced expansion pass. You can still enjoy our musical tune for the day. Now,
as much as I love Nintendo, Jordan, there's one thing that I love more than Nintendo.
When Nintendo does dumb things?
Nope, Animal Crossing.
Oh, you're a big fan?
I'm a huge fan.
Who's your favorite Animal Crossing character?
That's funny you should ask, because the name of this song is about two of my favorite Animal Crossing characters.
It's not.
Guys, I love Bubblegum and I love KK. They're two of my favorite characters, and so I'm so glad that Curly did a cover of Bubblegum KK, which is when they meet and they fall in love.
So Dan has never, unlike me, who's played many dozens of hours of Animal Crossing, Dan's never played. He doesn't know that KK Slider is a phenomenal musician. He doesn't understand that Bubblegum is the name of the song, but hopefully you do. And if you've never played Animal Crossing, just wait for the vocals to come in, and you'll instantly be in love.
All right, this is Bubblegum KK by Curly featuring GlitchxCity off Nook and Chill. I hope you guys enjoy it, and we will see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.